Jake, he stares at me. He's got like a fucking lazy eye and
When
a fucking half-grown-in beard.
yeah,
I mean,
crooked head, dude. You really are ugly. I guess
Take
I
a
just
fucking
hate looking
shower.
at you.
I dropped a lot.
I'm glad I'm not sitting across
I
from
haven't
him.
put deodorant on in months.
You're listening to the Bent Motorsports Podcast with the owner of Bent Motorsports, David Beckett, and his crew, Jacob Hunsinger, James Hernandez, and Jake Russo. Listen in as the guys discuss all things motorsports, including tech tips and current shop projects.
Well, let's talk about Sedona first, because that was the longest time ago, right?
That was early February.
That's probably what we were talking about last time before we had
early
Sydney
March. Early March.
I sure hope it wasn't that far long ago, because
Oh,
my
dude.
tie rods are smoked.
Oh,
I've
dude.
been cupping these tires for months now, I guess.
It's been a long time.
I like how you put things into correlation with like events that happen. You know, you're like, wow, yeah, I changed that out that long ago. I should probably do that again. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, that was the last time I did an oil change. Like, I put probably like 7,000 miles on it since then.
When did I blow the oil line up?
Oh, dude, that was a long time ago too.
That's when I changed my oil last.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Like
good because
6
all of it
months.
came out.
Yeah, wasn't that last year?
Was it?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Man, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It was a while ago.
Sedona,
Anyways,
so Sedona.
we're back.
Yeah, Sedona was really cool. Jake, you're familiar with that because you were up in Flagstaff for a hot minute.
Yeah, so we did a little bit of driving down in Sedona. We didn't hit too much of the trails down there, but just to see the scenery. Most of the off-roading we did was like up north in Flagstaff. There's two ways to go like north from Flagstaff, and I think one's the 89 and one's the 89A or something like that, and they go around Mount Humphreys there. And so the one to the left takes you over to the Grand Canyon to the South Rim. I don't know what it's actually called, what the nomenclature is, so don't quote me on that. But the other one goes the other way around Mount Humphreys, and it takes you up north. You can hit, Lake Powell, that's on the border of Utah. That eventually takes you up there.
That place is pretty crazy.
That place is cool. We did some traveling around there and went pretty much camped on the edge. I won't shout out the trail because it's so cool, and I don't want a bunch of people there because there was nobody there, and you're sitting on the edge.
Horseshoe Bend.
Shut your mouth.
He geotags everything.
I turned that off. I know I'm super like, oh, you're tracking me. They're gonna see how much spam I order. But yeah, a really, really cool country up there. Cool off-roading. We went and got stuck because I was stupid in two-wheel drive for a while and the side of a mountain. It was volcanic. Crater National Park, something like that. Really
about
cool.
right.
Yeah, it's like lava sand. It'll get you.
Sounds rad.
Sedona was something else. I mean, we stayed. I wish I camped it, but I wasn't equipped to camp it.
Not
But as far as trails go, like the Schneebly Hill, that one was cool, but it was just super bumpy. But the scenery was like bar none. I mean,
I want to say that all of the off-roading that we did in Sedona was gorgeous and the worst off-roading ever.
yeah,
It's just a bunch of jagged, shitty rocks in the middle of a trail that you can't go fast. You even going slow, like it doesn't matter. It's just constantly vibrating the shit out of your vehicle. And then you get to this really cool like slick rock stuff, and then you play on that for like 15 minutes and it's over. So the view is really where it's at, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. And then they have some dumb fucking rules up there where like you can't have any lights on after 10 or something stupid. I don't know.
McDonald's are different colors. It's just weird.
It's just weird. I mean, I digged it. I was glad we went, but
It wouldn't be a destination for off-roading. It would be a destination for camping and sightseeing.
Yeah, I
Is
agree
the
with
way
that
I kind of
100%.
look at it. Like, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was cool having all the Jeeps up there, and we looked like this whole squad rolling through places. But other than that, like, there was nothing to write home about. Schneebly Hill, we ended up going up there, like, first thing in the morning. I mean, it was dark when we left the campsite, and we were just hightailing it up there. And it was just, like, we finally got probably 3/4 of the way up, and it was all overcasty, but still a couple really good pictures of it, like sun just coming over the hills, and like the whole hillside was just like glowing red, and it was
pretty
super rad. And then we kind of just played around up there before we started our day, but it was kind of a cool way to start the day, I guess, because you just hung out all morning, and that was pretty much it. But
So I know you said the rocks were all jagged. I went there a few years ago after Expo West, and it was a lot of fun. And I know like Devil's Staircase and all those things. The rock like were really grippy, kind of like in Moab. Like you don't really need to do anything.
Yeah.
How was it compared to that? Like how did the tires?
So we did Devil's Staircase and that whole trail that
That
goes
was
through
Broken
there.
Arrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broken Arrow
Yep.
Trail.
So that trail was really cool because it wasn't as jagged.
Yeah.
Schnibley Hill was jagged. The other one that we did that was just on the outskirts of town, that one was absolute demolished vehicles. I mean,
Really?
I like broke a shock tab and had to drive. How far was that drive? 700 miles or something like that.
Oh no, it was only like 300 miles or so. 400.
Was it?
miles. I don't know.
Mhm. It's right around
Either way,
400 miles.
Yeah, either way, I drove home on 3 shocks, and like, dude, that trail annihilated the vehicles. I'm actually surprised we didn't break more stuff, but I guess I'm the only one that has subpar equipment.
Sounds like it's on the to-do list.
Yeah.
I think the real benefit for me was that we went with our families, and so there was a lot of other things we were going to do too, right? Like hiking up to that bridge, whatever that bridge is called.
Uh-huh. I
And
think
so
it was
for
called
me,
the Devil's Bridge.
It's Devil's Bridge.
is it Devil's
Yeah.
Bridge?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know if anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a hiker, right? Like
He
I'm
was
not Mr. Outdoors, so I need to be able to drive up as far as possible to get to these things. And they all told me, "Oh, it's like a 20-minute hike. We park here, and then it's a 20." And we were driving down these dirt roads, passing all these hikers. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, stupid people walking. Look at you." And then we get there. No, it's like a freaking hour and a half hike to that stupid bridge.
Yeah, it was pretty far.
Everybody in our group got there. I got there like 45 minutes after they did.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, hey, we saw it. We're leaving now." And I'm like, "What? I just got here." And then to hike all the way back.
Just look at the picture. You'll be fine. Turn around.
Uh-huh.
Next time I'm staying in my car, you guys can show me my 4K HD video of it. It's just the same as being there, right?
Exactly.
Facts.
Yeah, it's true. It
Well-
was pretty cool though. That whole staircase, it was like this giant gully kind of. It was just a giant canyon, dude. I mean, it was gigantic, and you just look across, and it just looks fake. It's one of those sceneries that just looks so fake, and it's cool to see for sure. We were there at kind of a cool time too, and the clouds were kind of just right, and it was just a cool look.
I give it 2 thumbs up. I like Sedona. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks to Tim, a local out there, who warned us before we went that the gate going up that Schnibley, or however you say it, road was going to be closed. And the gate at the bottom was open, luckily for us, but the Midway gate was closed. But we were able to get up to Carousel Rock, or whatever they call that, and it was pretty cool. So I mean, it was. I'm glad he let us know that it was going to be closed at least a little bit, but we got to go as far as we needed to anyways. We didn't have to go. I mean, the rest of the trail is just going up the wall and then following it out to the interstate, which we didn't need to do anyways.
I was about to say, I think everything past that was kind of lame.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. So
So we did the good stuff. That's all that counts.
thanks, Tim. Next time we're out there, we'll call you, and you can actually show us where the cool trails are, where there's no pink Jeeps.
Yeah, those things were everywhere, man.
They
But
look
were
like they're
sick.
rocking too. Some of
Yeah.
the stuff you're like, man, isn't that a little tall for that weight?
There,
Yeah.
I too. All the pink Jeep guys were super cool. Everyone we ran into, everybody was super cool except for that one guy. There was one pink Jeep, and that guy was just mad that anybody else was on the trail but him. Like if you were in his way, he was mad. So we like made it a thing to be in his way the rest of the time we were there. So
I don't get how you can
That's
have a
the
job
spirit.
like that and not expect tourism
Right?
and other vehicles to be
That's
on
the whole
any
point of it.
trail. Yeah, that is the point of it.
yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Dude,
And
we were 5 Jeeps deep, or 6. We had 6 Jeeps with us,
Something like there was
5
a
or
lot of
6, and like so every time we got to an obstacle, it was like, somebody gets out, they spot, and this and that. So it was like kind of time consuming, and like
Well, yeah,
these dudes were just like, come on.
But at least you don't know what you're doing and you're breaking stuff. Then they're really
Yeah, then they're really
gonna be pissed
Could you
off.
imagine if you bottlenecked that whole place?
yeah, because that Broken Arrow one, that was a narrow kind of like a one-way. I mean, it's not a one-way trail, but it's kind of a narrow. Everybody's kind of got a route that you're supposed to take, and we went back up that. What was it? Devil's Staircase.
Yeah.
Brian went back up it, and that's when the pink Jeep guy got all mad at us, and it's like, oh, sorry, man.
Try hard.
I don't see a one-way sign, so we do whatever
Yeah.
I want. So let's break this up a little. Let's talk about, we haven't talked about shop projects that are in here. So the last everybody heard, I don't remember what was in here. Maybe the Camaro, that's gone. The Defender, that's gone. We've got Bob's Coupe back in here, but that's just for some touch-up stuff. We got Mike's Cool Hot Rods in here, that little hot rod truck.
What year is that?
Be cool.
Yeah, what year is that? 53 or something?
It's like a
No,
I think it's like a 40s. It's a 40s Ford truck.
Yeah.
It's like a
early 40s, isn't
Yeah.
it? 43 maybe, I'm thinking.
that
Yeah.
could be.
That makes it way cooler. I thought it was a 50s, which is still rad, but
Nah, it's
any
Oh,
40s
dude.
Vic is
It's not chopped,
Awesome.
but it is like Frenched, like the firewall's all flattened and set
Yeah.
back into the cab.
Because those had kind of like a V-shaped front
Mhm.
firewall.
It's not gonna have a hood. It's not gonna have fenders, right?
It's gonna have a hood, no fenders.
Hood, no fenders. Okay, and it's got a LS1.
LS1 out of a. It's actually a whole subframe, like whole rolling.
Oh yeah, front and
chassis.
rear subframes and the torque tube and the transaxle mounted to a custom like ladder style frame.
Yeah, and so I think the frame's out of a 04 Corvette.
The frame's custom.
No, I'm sorry. The
Oh, the
subframe.
subframe.
The subframe's out of an
Got it,
04
got it.
Corvette, so it's
Solid.
pretty rad, dude.
It's
It's
cool.
6 piston calipers in the front.
Mhm.
We're trying to find some 4 pistons that match it for the rear, and I wouldn't be surprised if that thing weighs 2,300
How wide
pounds.
are those tires, man?
Dude, they're like 325s
They're
in the front
huge.
and 345s
They're
in the
like
rear. They're
how
massive.
How wide is that in inches?
Oh, I don't know. It's got to be 14 to 15 inches
It's
wide.
wide.
Like it's huge.
fucking wide.
And it's square too, you know?
Mhm.
So the front tires are just as big as the backs.
It's a big go kart. It's like
Yeah,
an
it's gonna
old
be-
truck go kart.
It's going to be cool. He's been working on it for a long time, and I guess he got to the point where he wants us to help him do our part, so we're going to do our part.
That was professional.
So I'm looking forward
So
to
proud of you.
every once in a while. So I'm looking forward to working on that project. Other than that, we've just been slamming other jobs in and out of here, but we do have personal projects. Jake's got Russo's got a jet boat in here right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a rundown on that thing?
It's a 1985 Eliminator. I cannot figure out for the life of me what hull design it is. Kind of a day cruiser kind of thing, but
It's the worst trying to find because they had so many. Back in
dude,
the
there's
day.
so many different
many.
ones. It's a 21 foot, so it is a bigger of the jet boats. Like a lot of the old 80s, 70s era, they're like 16 to like 20 feet, you know, like 20s up there. Like all the dudes in like the little tiny flat bottoms that are cooking across the big
Mhm.
basset headers sticking out the back, like those are little tiny like shoe boxes basically.
they
like
are.
Death Wish, you know.
God, those things are fast. as
Yeah,
shit,
dude,
bro.
they're so crazy. And you just see these dudes rolling down the river, and this thing's been blown up for 4 years now almost, and I'm just to the point where it's like, dude, it's got to come back. It's got to come back. Like I miss taking that thing out, you know. And so basically, we blew the motor 4 years ago, and it's one of those things where it just sat around, and it was just so sidelined for so long. And in that 4 years, I got an LS and a BMW. I got a Jeep, like. You know, like there's so many other things that took priority over that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now I finally like stashed away some money. We sold some things, like got everything kind of equaled out to where it's like, all right, cool. I got like 2 weeks to this thing is like pretty much in the water again. And it's like, perfect. Let's just do it right. And
you got some bitchin' parts for that thing.
yeah, dude, I've been
Droop Snoot.
Yeah, some Droop Snoop. So actually Place Diverter is right up in Brea. They're super
is
cool
that?
people. So they sell basically like anything to make your pump just like the most efficient, badass thing you could get.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be hydraulic trim controls or what they call a droop snoot, which actually relocates the exit nozzle like a few inches down and further back, which gets it further into the water, and it also trims it up another like 8 degrees, so you get like the massive rooster tail that everybody wants. They make, dude, I don't know. I went to their shop. It was really cool. It was like kind of half machine shop, half assembly, half just building boats and stuff like that. So it was a cool place. And so we ended up going up there. The guys that were there, it's like the 2 owners, and they're both brothers, and I'm pretty sure like half the people that work there are all family members, but super cool people. They hooked me up really well. I definitely want to give them a shout out, but
It's sick. The thing is sick.
yeah,
I'm gonna give David a shout out for turning a fan on.
yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
sorry, guys. Our air conditioner crapped out, so we're just
They
gonna.
call the landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody ever done a podcast in a sauna? That's what's happening.
Yeah, dude.
We're all gonna lose. some
Yes,
weight.
we're only in
It
towels.
gets the aggravation going.
Yeah, just to paint the
Jeez.
picture, we're all in towels
Boy,
right
that's-
now.
Yeah.
Well, except for
sick.
Jake.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a towel.
I got my
It's
really
much cooler.
short swim trunks on because I'm like trying to live the jet boat
Nice.
life, you know.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that thing the last 3 days now, and basically at this point I got the whole jet drive taken out of it. The engine that I've been working on is about to go in once the jet drive's done. So the engine's all kind of squared away. So now I'm like pre-fitting all the wiring. So I yanked all the wiring out today, and so that's going to get all freshened up and new. And I think I'm going to reroute some things in an orderly fashion so it looks clean and just is proper. So I'm super excited to get it back out on the water, and hopefully I'd say 2 weeks from now, and we're going to have it at Lake Elsinore doing some test runs and breaking in the engine and just going through all the systems, making sure everything's working right. So I'm super excited for that.
You said it's an 85, right?
85.
Dude, that thing is retro as hell, and it looks sick.
Yeah, dude, it's like the typical, and so it's not like a normal boat. Like a lot of the boats that you see on the river, they're like the driver in the passenger seat, and then they got the bench in the back, kind of like a regular car would be. This thing's like a full wraparound the whole way around it. Like you can fit 14 people on it easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think
not
it's a couch.
Yeah, dude, and it's just a giant couch the whole way. It's so rad. But yeah, it's been on the to-do list for a while, so it's cool to have it back and getting it going.
What about the Ford, Jake? You want to talk about that at all, or no?
No, yeah,
I think we've talked about it in the past, but there's been some progress.
Yeah, so I have the frame rails are together. It's going to be kind of a ladder style frame, but tube, and I'll build a cage off of that. And now I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to be able to clear I might have to cut the whole back half off, which is kind of irritating, because I think the upper links are going to interfere with the design that I want to go with, which is just like a triangulated 4-link, you know, where the uppers are the ones that are triangulated on the axle side, but for the length of lower control arm that I want to run, it now makes it so those other ones have to be pretty long as well, and I think that their paths will intersect. There you go. There's some sweet engineering terms. Yes, I'm so smart.
What's that? Geometry.
Yeah. God, what's wrong with you? But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I can swing it. I don't know. Got an Atlas. That's pretty cool. Kind of.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stearns Off-Road. They blew their Atlas up, so they were willing to hand it down.
Yeah, they blew it. Well, they didn't blow it up at Hammers. It probably got damaged at Hammers. And
shortly
then
after.
They brought it back, and we're going to do a quick day trip to Superstition or something. And I think within the first half an hour of being there, he grenaded that thing.
Yeah, and there's a cluster gear in there, and that's what ties the input shaft to the front drive shaft. And that one, the high, I think, just shredded all the teeth off of it.
Right.
So
Dude, it is like
it's gone.
sandpaper down.
Oh yeah, there's full on teeth, like the entire gear tooth, like inside that case draining out of it. So it's gonna need a little bit of show and shine, but that'll be.
But it's a 4-speed.
Yeah, it's a 4-speed. I think the low gear on that's like 8.13 to 1, so it's pretty.
So dumb.
It's pretty up there because I think the Rubicon's like 2.73 to 1. I think that's what their low range is.
Yeah.
So that'll be really nice. That's a really cool part, and I really appreciate that because it's gonna make this build just that much better. So I'm drawing up. I ended up going with a AAM 9 1/4 front axle. It's an IFS housing. I'm gonna narrow it and then run an IFS J-arm setup up there. The issue I'm running into now is CV lengths. Luckily, RCV, I was willing to call them, and they kind of planned out a custom axle for me that'll actually work. So that's cool. I'm excited for the lifetime warranty, and hopefully they don't break. But they run them in like Pro 4s and some pretty cool projects over there. So drawing up a bunch of parts right now. Got the plasma cutter to cut out the frame mounts, so the body's actually mounted to the frame as well. But now we're just kind of waiting on a couple of machine errors, so hopefully we can get that solved.
Yeah, sometimes when you have equipment, it doesn't want to cooperate when there's a computer attached to it. So you got to work on that or just start building it old school again. And then I don't have any. I guess we're going to start working on that Willie's project soon. My son's getting out of school in a week, and so I'm going to force him to come to the shop and work.
That's good.
Child labor there.
That'll teach him.
It's free, use it.
It's free labor. But he's going to hopefully work on his Willys, and we can get that knocked out this summer. And we post pictures of that on Instagram all the time. And the Jake's too. If you want to see what that boat looks like, or Jake's Ford project, those things are all on Instagram. Just go there and check it out. What about you, Kevin? You got anything? I know with everything that's going on in the world, your business or your charity has your services have kind of stopped because everything else has stopped. But what's the next plan for you? Like, what's the next event that you could potentially make?
So it's actually been as detrimental as everything has been for everybody. It's really allowed a time for not so much as a restructure, but re-networking and just working on a bunch of things to receive donations, which allows us to put on events. So what is it? Dang, it's June. I'm hoping September, realistically, to have a few things that we've been working on the past couple months to be completed, which will allow us to set actual hard dates and get hard people to come out and get all the flyers and stuff out. For Trail Therapy's Vic, the Ford, that's kind of just been sitting since I think last weekend. When did you guys do Sedona?
Dude, we did Sedona.
March.
It
Yeah.
was March.
Was it March?
It was
Okay.
March, early
Yeah,
March.
we got back just like maybe 2 weeks before the COVID
went
came
down.
in.
Okay.
It was like the week of, I think.
Yeah. We
The-
just made it back.
The past few months with all that has kind of like blurred everything together, but I know a lot of people are going out with precautions now, which allows us to kind of expand in things that are opening and we can do, and BLM and all the trails and stuff. So now that people are out, once they get comfortable, I feel that the expansion of going out with groups and people that they're not really familiar with, like coming out with Trail Therapy Offroad, will that'll be happening more often. So you want people to be safe, be comfortable, and then I think that we can really start doing this thing again
Right.
physically.
Yeah, physically doing it.
But the site's up. I'm going to be working on the site this weekend and primarily next, actually, and then working on new T-shirts design. I'm meeting up with Bobby and Josh with Off the Grid in 2 days. So we have some good things going there, which I think will be cool. And we're working on a rad T-shirt with 9 Line Apparel.
Nice.
And I'm excited for that also.
Very cool.
Other than that, my Tacoma, on the other hand, is all bolt-on stuff. So I'm going to be looking forward to Bent getting creative. Well, not the Jakes, but David
Yeah.
getting creative
Yeah,
with
Call there.
You can
with some stuff with me for there, so we can start
Little do you know.
start
He's an
keeping up with
expert.
other things.
Yeah, we're gonna take that thing out. We're gonna take it out to John Bull. Supposedly, he keeps
Yeah,
saying
no,
that.
we
It's
need
not-
to do that, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump into Salton Sea if we're talking about his Tacoma, and so we went to Salton Sea, probably right in the middle of all of this stuff, right? Right when everybody
Yeah.
was supposed to stay home and
Yeah. So
Not do
that was like a
things.
month ago, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was
had
a
to
month
been
ago. Yeah,
So beginning of May or
That
something.
was fun.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we decided we wanted to go out and do that Red Canyon Jeep Trail, and of course we had high hopes of covering tons of terrain, and we drove out there. And when we got there, we drove to that. The first stop was the train, like the old train trestle bridge, the old mining company one that's out of commission. And then we went up and got on the trail, and we ended up fooling around on that trail on the ridge line for like an hour, and then decided, okay, do we want to keep going all the way over to the Sherman Tank Museum and the Interstate 10, or do we want to just go back so that we can see Slab City and all that other fun stuff that's in that area, and then just go home through Ocotillo Wells? So we decided to do that. I think we still covered a lot of ground that day. It was super fun. We had a couple of Harrier jump jets low fly by us, which was rad.
That was super rad.
It was.
It's like break your eardrums. They were so low.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Well,
They
It-
knew
it-
they were sneaking up on us too, and we had no clue until they were on top of us. It was rad.
It's I'm kind of glad that we didn't keep going because he wound up having the brake problems.
Yeah, yeah.
The exploder did.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Boiled the brakes, I think. I
Yeah.
think he boiled the fluid.
Yeah, it got a little warm out there. It was hot.
Yeah, it was 105 or 106 or
Mhm.
something out
Really
Is
there.
that how bad it was?
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
tested the systems, I think.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think everybody had issues that day, dude. I had some misfires going on.
Yeah,
I think,
stuttering.
David, didn't you have some issues too?
I don't have issues
Your
with my Jeep. It's
transmission was
fucking solid.
slipping because that's what you were saying.
I don't think I was.
Yeah, it was fun though. It was
yeah, that
fun.
transmission's garbage.
We got to flex out on a couple little spots. It was like mostly just fun driving throughout the day, but
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it was a
There's
lot
a-
of fun.
couple spots where it was just like cool to see what the vehicles could do, how much they actually could articulate. I was surprised the Explorer didn't get stuck going through a couple of those. That little crevice right
Yeah.
before
That thing
the
did
brakes had
really
an
good,
issue.
man.
That was cool. but I destroyed the inner tie rods. Those are brand new, gone, toast, wasted. So I ordered the Camberg kit. I decided I'd just
Good
do that.
man.
Yeah. So it's got their stainless steel, heat treated inner tie rod arms that go to. They're like spun down stainless. They're real fancy. And then it goes to FK JMX Heims, like 3/4 inch Heims. And then they have another stainless steel clevis that's all machined down with a custom bolt that puts it to the rack. And that they say it's going to solve all my issues. So
That's awesome.
really look forward to the tires not getting wasted.
Yeah.
So when are we going to do John Bull?
When I install that,
Okay, so
When's it going to be here?
whenever they ship it, like a couple days.
Call them right now.
So normally when you order something, like within a day or two, they ship it, and then depending on where they are, it's like a couple days. Then you
Yeah.
get it. And
Oh,
then
see, Jake understands how shipping
you
works.
kind of wait like 4 months sometimes before you actually install it.
Yeah,
But hopefully
that's
it's a little
another-
sooner than that, you know.
Yeah, welded in my ball joints the other
that
day.
was cool.
You know, the arms are replaceable.
Well, we for sure have to do John Bull, and then for everybody who listens to our podcast, we'll let you know on the podcast when we're going to do John Bull, the date and time. And if you listen to the podcast and you want to meet us up there, then you can wheel with us. We'll have Kevin from Trail Therapy and then all of us from Bent there. We won't post it on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. So you got to listen. If you're listening here, you're going to get the inside scoop on where we're at.
And if you don't, like, we get it. I totally get it if you don't want to go.
Don't tell your friends. If you listen, then you tell your friends they got to listen. Don't give it up. Don't tell them where we're meeting.
Yeah.
And we need visual proof of them watching the whole podcast.
Yeah, you got to record
Well,
them watching the whole
we'll
thing.
just tell them.
Desperate.
We'll just tell the date and time at the end, just like everybody else does in their podcast, right? We'll tell you at the end. We'll just keep teasing it.
I'm stoked for John Bull. You know, I like testing the IFS a lot. When I was in Stoddard Wells, was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Jake's shaking his head at me, of course.
Yeah, 'cause
I walk in the
know
door
where-
and the first thing he does is like, God damn, this guy's here.
Well, I just know how stupid it is to test the IFS. 'Cause
Yeah.
you lose every time.
But no, dude, your truck rips. I was really stoked to see. I'm not blowing you.
rips.
Like, this is.
I wish.
Rips tie rods off.
All right. Tyrant
But,
destroyer.
There was a bunch of trails where I was following up Jeeps. I was the only IFS there, which I kind of liked because I like testing myself and my truck and things we've learned and broke, etc. But what's it called? Pumpkin Eater. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or done it,
No, I haven't done it.
but it's gnarly. I think you guys would have a really good time. And some Jeeps on 37s and 40s were having problems, but you know sometimes poor line work does that. And I
Wasted.
really, yeah.
I was say if my Jeep had 40s, I don't think I'd have problems anyway.
Yeah, no, they were bumping it and everything. I don't know. It was they were doing all right, but
you got up it.
I did not make it all the way up it. No,
Got it. Okay.
I had to turn around. Well, I had to back up part of the trail and go up this ridge because if I broke my axles, I would not have made it home. So
Look
I
at you
will be
knowing where to
saving.
stop. That's
it
great.
was very, very mentally hard to just accept it. But I will do some modifications and save for some parts to where I'm going to go back up that trail.
Nice.
But that makes me look more forward to John Bull because I haven't done it before. And I've been
Yeah.
up to Big Bear a lot, and I know a lot of rigs get messed up on it.
Didn't
So I'm looking forward to it.
the guy who was with us at King of the Hammers, he's a Welds Taco.
Oh, yeah.
Welds Taco. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a
He's
good
a Marine
welder.
also.
Yeah, I guess. But
Soldier boy. Of course he says that.
he I think just did John Bull.
Hmm.
Did he get?
I saw that.
How'd he do?
I don't know, actually. I just saw a couple pictures. I didn't see a picture of his truck on a flatbed or
That's good.
with a strap or winch hooked up to it, so I'm assuming he's a smart guy, and his truck is...
I got a little bit of body damage, but so did I.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool though. That's a really fun trail. That was it's a good medium trail if you're
Yeah.
trying to move up in the ranks and get more experience. Like
No,
that's
it's
cool.
for sure a good trail to give people experience because there's a lot of like angled stuff, like big
Yeah.
rocks and lots of angles. And some places, you look and you go, man, if I tumble on this thing, I'm not just going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little ways down the hill a little bit. So it's definitely a fun. John Bull's definitely a fun place to go. And I can't wait to go back up there again
Mm-hmm.
and do it. So we got to do it here in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Yeah,
I got
dude.
Yeah, I just gotta wait till that stuff's here, and I'll install it same day.
I gotta put the new springs in the back of my Jeep.
Yeah. I think that's going to make a big difference for you.
Yeah, I tend to carry a lot of weight in the
Yeah,
back
you
of my
do.
Jeep. I carry a bunch of tools and shit because I'm a freaking worrywart, and I want to like have all the tools to fix shit, and lots of water and gas and things like that.
He's kind of got the sweet like recovery rig because it's just such a pig. It's such like a beast. It gets up everything.
Yeah.
So you're like, I just throw all the fucking tools in
like a
there.
mule, dude. It's like,
Yeah. That'll
Yeah, it
support
really is.
everybody else who gets their
Yeah.
stuff destroyed. But you got chromoly axles, ARBs, like Tom Woods driveline. Like it's pretty set up.
I got a dumb lawn. Yeah, I was trying to insure my Jeep, and the new insurance company that I was trying to go with wanted a list of all of my upgrades. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just go through it in my head. And so it's too long of a list. So I made a spreadsheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so 100 items in and $25,000 later, I'm like, oh, this is fucking depressing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I put a lot of money into this Jeep in the last couple of years. Holy hell. Well, it goes anywhere though. I mean, for me it's perfect. On 35s, it's perfect because it's challenging in places because it's a 35. I mean, if I went to Johnson Valley, I wouldn't probably make it up shit out there, right? I mean, that's way too advanced.
Yeah, that's like buggy territory.
But we went through the Rubicon with it, and it was wonderful. It was challenging, and it was fun, and I wasn't worried because I have quality parts on it, and it's just a really fun Jeep to drive. So I almost toy with, should I put coilovers on this? What's the next step? And I don't know. I still don't think I'd do coilovers. I probably would just put better shocks on it.
Put some bypasses on that bad boy. We'll really tune it. Imagine that thing if it was just walking over everything. Spring's a spring, I think I heard you say
Yeah,
recently.
spring's the spring, man.
So, dude, all you need is some bypasses. Think about that. Oh,
Be like
sick.
Bob's Jeep.
Well, like you guys said, like even with Sedona, a lot of it is it's more so beautiful than it is challenging.
Mhm.
And us like incorporating the skills that we've learned and going up techie stuff and it being a challenge makes it more fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm very novice when it comes to the off-roading thing. I mean, I've got, not even a half a dozen trips under my belt, but it's still cool. Like I really enjoy it. Even when we did John Bull and the Explorer, I didn't drive it a single time, but I just like getting technical with that stuff. It's like, oh, if we like place a rock here, then we get a little bit more grip there, and like,
Yeah.
it's just super technical. I really like the slow technical stuff, which is I think what kind of draws me to the whole Jeeping and off-roading thing.
Oh, and he would love Rubicon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
right?
a
Like-
lot of that.
I
I'm
drove
like-
11 miles, and Jake walked 11 miles.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
good,
Like
so
I'm really,
that-
I'm really looking forward to that. Like
Yeah,
whenever
that's
we
gonna be
plan
great.
that.
That's gonna be a good time.
So hopefully the Jeep gets some move. Once I'm done with the boat, the Jeep's gonna get a little bit more.
Well, the
But-
group we normally wheel with wants to go to Moab next, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do Moab, and then Rubicon again. But then now there's some talk from Eddie, who lives out in Denver, who wants maybe we could do Moab, and then there's like another 6 or 7 trails in Colorado. So we make this big loop,
That'd be fun.
And,
That'd be
yeah,
real
yeah.
fun.
and we take like a week and just knock out like 10 or 15 trails.
Dude,
yeah,
that's
really
almost
break
like
some stuff.
Yeah,
let's
that's
really
almost like
smash some shit.
an ultimate adventure type of thing. Like I don't want to put it up to that level because those dudes are going through some serious shit.
You got
But like,
Ford ice. And all
yeah,
that
exactly.
shit.
But like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of to that level. Let's do some endurance stuff. You know,
Yeah,
like
if you're
I wanna-
wheeling for a week,
that's a
not
long
just
week. Dude.
4 hours, and most of your time is there
Yeah.
and back.
And you got to
On
prep,
asphalt.
man. You got to
Yeah.
prep for that because
Yeah.
we did it. Some of the people we went with in our group to the Rubicon, they didn't really prepare for it. They were like, "We got beer and food, like
That's
whatever."
it.
And me and David are over there, like, "Okay, so we got a spare for this, spare for this. We got this tool for this. Like every single any bolt on the car, like we were gonna get that bolt out. So
Oh, yeah,
all
dude,
the
we had-
spares, spare coils, spare plugs, spare water pumps, spare alternators.
I had a
starter.
spare fuel injector.
Yeah, spare fuel injector, like freaking spare drive shafts, spare axles. Like that thing, it's the pig.
Yeah, see,
But-
that's the other thing I didn't do when I made that list for the insurance company with all the different components that I bought. I didn't list
Yeah, what are
all
the
the components I
backups?
bought twice. I don't
Yeah.
need just 2 rear chromoly axles. I need 4. And I don't need 2 front chromoly axles. I need 4. I don't need 2 Tom Woods drive shafts. I need 4.
Yeah.
I've got
No,
so many
it's-
parts, dude.
Did you use any of them?
No.
Not a single.
You know
time.
why? Because I had them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
Had I not had them, I would have broke
Needed
something and
everyone.
needed it.
I'm gonna
Dude.
build this stupid truck so strong and have all the shit. We're gonna go out and I'm not gonna have two, and it's just gonna destroy
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
Gotta
dude.
buy
Gosh.
two, man. Gotta
I
buy
swear,
two.
I got a spare alternator, and like right before that, we're all at King of the Hammers. My alternator was like kind of squealing, like a bearing was going out, and I haven't heard that noise since I got the new one. Like it's not even a new one; it's just a used one, but I have it as a spare, you know. And I'm
Yep.
like, I swear I haven't heard that thing make that sound a single time since, you know. It's like I know you got a spare on board. You're, yeah, I see what you're doing here.
I want to look into getting a different transmission transfer case for my Jeep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Marty has the Atlas. He likes the Atlas,
Mhm.
right? So maybe go with that. But then what transmission?
You
Can
want
I
to
put
dump
the-
that one? You
Yeah,
can put
let's-
like what could you
5-speed.
No. And I'm super old now, so I super am happy with the automatic, and I don't care if anybody gives me shit about it.
But you can put a
Oh.
6L80 behind
I was
there or
about to
something.
say a 6L80 would be super stout.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder if Advanced Adapters or anybody makes an adapter. Or if we
Even a
just-
4L80, like if you just wanted to go to something more stronger, better suited for off road, because like yours will last, but you're already, that thing it makes
Yeah.
noise.
Dude, you got to
Dude,
think
it's
of
bad.
what that transmission was intended for in
Mhm.
your Jeep, and now add another like 2,000 pounds worth of like accessories
Armor.
and bigger tires and this and that for the life of it, you know. So that thing's basically towing 24/7 every single time you drive it.
And I've got over 100,000 miles on it. Actually, the last time we were at John
Oh my
Bull,
God,
when
that's so
when
much.
Jake had the Explorer, I had my son with me, and we hit 100,000 miles on John Bull
That's sick.
for the
Wasn't it right at the entrance?
Yeah, it was right at the end. Well, we were going what I consider backwards. We came in where the gatekeeper, where the tree had fallen last year. So we came in that way, and we were maybe a mile in, not even a mile in, probably a half a mile in, and it turned 100,000 miles.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was kind of neat. But the engine's super tired. I've overheated that engine no less than 100 times. Like, badly overheated that engine because everybody's like, oh, no, the 4-liter, man, that thing's a
Get it.
tank engine. That thing's a tractor. It'll go forever.
Oh, it
And-
certainly is, man.
Yeah.
That thing goes.
Dude, so I'm impressed with it, but when it does go, I'll just get a stroker rebuild, like a long
Yeah.
block stroker for it, because I want to keep it smog legal. But then if I'm going to do all that, then the transmission I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
So I just need to look into what my options are to change
Those are
that.
smart mods. Those are smart things to put
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. I'm going to change the drive, because I would be nice to do a V8 or something like an LS swap, but living in Southern California, you're allowed to do anything. So
I wonder.
whatever.
I wonder as far as like the transmission goes, because even a 4L60, right? Like my brother's got 240,000 miles on that thing. Like, let alone it hasn't been like super beat.
4L80, man.
No, but that's
about
what I'm
an
saying. Like,
8L90?
if a 4L60,
Eight?
if a
Those are
4L60
so
could
long.
hold up that many miles, like not ever being touched, basically, besides like your routine maintenance, how good is a 4L80 going to be, or
Yeah.
or a 6L80, or whatever 8L80, whatever, however nomenclature they go up? But you know what I mean? Like that would definitely be a good investment, and I think they're fairly cheap because they're in like every single GM SUV or truck ever made.
I was just gonna ask what the 60s and 80s came out of.
Everything.
Like every
Yeah.
Suburban, every
Suburban.
single
It was
truck.
there's the Turbo 400, and then it was the 700 R4,
Yep.
And then that turned into the
4L80.
yeah.
So that's just all those technologies, and everybody trophy trucks now still run. I mean, if they don't have the bitchin' Mason case, but
Yeah.
they've run the Turbo 400 from Reed. They make their own cases and modeled after that one, so they're strong. It's a good transmission, but people want
Yeah.
more speeds.
And that's what you're
3
throwing
speeds.
in your Ford, right?
Yeah, old motorhome Turbo 400. Hopefully, it's a heavy duty
So you
case.
gotta gear. Can you re-gear that trans to be a little bit higher so that your 3-speed actually gets
Probably
like a
the low-
well diverse gear set?
Yeah, it just depends, I guess, on what. I'm sure you could. I'm sure it's easy too. I was looking at how to rebuild them because I need to change the output shaft to fit the Atlas, and it doesn't look that difficult. I'm sure there are things I'll go in there and be like, yeah, it's fine, just throw it together. It's what the instructions say, and some transmission guru is gonna be like, wow, that guy's an idiot. But we'll try it and we'll get better at it, and we're gonna make some bitchin'
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah, we don't know everything.
Nobody knows everything.
Like we always say, I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
There you go. That's it.
Just remember that. We'll get through this. What else we got going on in the shop? Nothing. I brought the Spitfire home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulled the transmission out. We got to rebuild that and rewire that car. But we needed room in the shop, so I just pulled the transmission and brought it home so I can store it at home.
There was boats that had to be done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some big, giant freaking boat had to come in here.
Takes up half the shop.
So on this Spitfire, I think I'm gonna put my high compression head back on,
There you go.
so we can run
now
the
we're
trick
talking.
fuel. And then put the slicks back on it so we can rip it around. And then once we're sufficiently happy with ripping it around, then maybe put a different engine in it.
There we go. What are we thinking? Because it's short.
Cole,
Man, that
Cole
thing's short.
He's
suggested
got a good idea. I
Cole
can't wait.
suggested Honda S2000.
He got an S2000.
Well, yeah, and then he wants to make the license plate say "fool," and then we'll put a turbo on it.
He's a smart kid.
Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Are you gonna race
How
it
tall is
again?
that motor?
Yeah, we'll race it again.
Oh yeah.
I think they're like probably fairly tall, but I
Man,
don't
they
think
got to
it
be
would
shorter than that.
I would, yeah.
Whatever that engine we tried to put in
What's
there.
the height goal that you're shooting for?
Whatever will fit.
Low.
High,
Should run
low
a
as
Miata
possible.
motor.
Ugh,
No.
Stop.
Oh, I threw up in my mouth.
The Spit 2000.
What is that?
That'd be cool.
It's a 1.3?
The Honda S2000.
No, your Spit Triumph.
1.5 liter.
S2000 is a 2-liter, right?
I don't know.
Or is it?
No, I think they're like a 2.4 or 2.3.
Are they?
Yeah,
You would know.
but
Idiot.
I like the
I'm an
S2000.
expert.
Man.
Yeah, they're high
Yeah.
revving engines, right? Those
Yeah,
engines. I remember
dude.
when they came out, you had to be way up on the revs in order for that engine to work right. Which,
it's like driving a 2-stroke. You know.
yeah, you got to be really in it.
But isn't
There's
that
like- there's
isn't that all
nothing.
VTEC engines?
Kinda. There's nothing down low in that thing. I remember I had a buddy that had one like a few years ago, and he took me in it, and he was like, "All right, dude, we're gonna do a pull, ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, go for it." It's like
It's a 2.2 liter.
and then it's
2.2.
like, whoa, and then it fucking finally kicks in. And you're like, oh, that's what everybody means, you know?
Starting
Like,
at 6K.
yeah, dude, but it's real. Like it's nothing down low, and then all of a sudden it just kicks into high gear on top. Like in that light of a car, I think you'd be okay, but at the same time, like it was so funny. I was like, what's nothing's. Oh,
they're
there
not,
it is.
They're
there
not
it
all
is.
turboed, right?
No.
None
They
of
never
them.
came
I don't
turbo.
know.
None of them
They're all NA.
So if we turbo them, that's even better.
Yeah, or
So
supercharged.
boosted F20.
I know Vortec makes
Mhm.
good supercharger for them.
GT70. Oh no, GT3076R. A ball bearing turbo on the F20C. What does this guy make? 430 horsepower.
Yeah, it's like
On an S2000?
Yeah. Oh jeez, at 8,400 RPM.
Well, with my with my high compression heads and my DCOE 40 side draft Webers, total seal piston rings, like built running on trick fuel, as bad to the bone as I can make a 3-main crank.
So stupid.
It only has 3 mains.
That's so dumb.
I get 90. The best I ever got was 98 to the ground.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm gonna go take my. Well, I don't even have one. My buddy used to have a CRX HF and race you. They're put up at the same power.
The only reason why we ever did well in racing was because the racing we were doing with it was slalom racing, and it was time trial, and it wasn't anything that required top end. So we had like 140 something foot-pounds of torque. So everything was built for bottom end. So right, torque gets you going, horsepower keeps you going. So everything we were doing was slalom stuff where we needed tons of torque, and the car being so low slung to the ground and a convertible, and the way we had it set up, it was like a freaking go-kart. So we did really well in our class because of we built it specifically for a purpose. But I'm ready for more power.
Where would you do that at anyway? I
We
know.
used to do it at Qualcomm.
Okay.
And then we did it at Fontana up at the California Speedway.
Did they ever actually have events at El Toro after it closed down? Because we used to do
Yeah.
drift stuff
They
up there.
still
They
do.
still do?
They
Okay,
still do,
rad.
yeah.
This thing's shift RPM is 9,200.
That's the
Yeah.
engine we want. I think
431 wheel horsepower at 8720 and 290 pound-feet of torque
They're-
at 5,200.
Yeah, I think
They're
Cole's
all
right.
aluminum too, I think.
Oh, dude.
Aren't they?
They must be.
I
mean, I'm
would
sure- I'm
imagine
sure
so.
they are.
Yeah. So I wonder how the weight difference would be between your engine and that.
Probably
It's got to be
better.
dismal.
Yeah. It's probably got to be way better.
326 for an F20C fully dressed.
So that's on the list of things to do in the future after the wheelies. Got to get the wheelies done first.
Yeah, dude.
Both
that's,
are rad.
That's been sitting for way too long. That's like the boat, dude. It's been sitting for too long. Like you
Too
just
long,
got to
man.
dive into it.
Yeah, we'll dive into it. The goal is to have that thing done by end of summer, and then start wheeling it. That'll be fun.
Put an LS in it.
Yeah, Cole's going to
Might
drive
as
it to
well.
school. It's going to be Cole's first car, so
So
he's going to get the
he's gonna
inline
get a
6
Honda
tractor
2000
motor with the
motor.
3-speed crappy transmission.
Is it 3 on the tree? No,
No,
it's,
3.
It's got a
It's on the floor, but he's going to, until he can prove to me that he can drive that around and not get in trouble and not be a meaty bone. Then
Don't we have a
then we can upgrade
454 we could put in it?
yeah, we have a 454. But no, he doesn't get that right away.
Nah, that's smart, I guess.
That's gonna be a rad. My first car was a 1990 Integra GS,
Hell yeah.
and I thought I was a pimp. Let me tell you what,
What was it?
neutral drops and everything in that bad
Ooh,
boy.
yeah.
Mine was a 76 Honda Civic
CVCC.
CVCC. And then I got a 73 Ford pickup. And then I got a Spitfire
Oh, so you actually drove the Spitfire as a daily back in the day?
back in the day.
That's sick.
Was that
Not the
this
same one. I crashed the one that I
Oh,
drove when
okay.
I was a teenager.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'd save like 50 pounds. Sorry to bring it back there, but I was looking up weights and
Oh.
stuff.
No, that
You'd
sounds
save
about right.
like 50 pounds off the motor from the swap.
Sick. And I'd gain like 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
even
That's
with the
stupid.
turbo, I think you'd be net.
Yeah, dude.
Which is why I've got to change the rear axles out and probably the rear. Well, if I'm. So I was going to put
an 8.8 in it or something.
Well, yeah, I was going to put a bunch of money into the rear axles and convert the rear to disc brake, but that's with running a stock diff. So I need to run a different diff. I got to do something like Marty does down there or Martin with the Monster Miatas
Mhm.
and run whatever he's running in the
Yeah,
back.
it's like it's an
They're
8.8.
an
It's
8.8.
a Thunderbird rear end or whatever.
Yeah, so we got to do that. So we got to convert the back of the Spitfire to that, and then
So bitching.
you know what we should do
Oh,
too
it's
is
gonna be
get
a
rit of
race
that
car.
transverse leaf, right? Let's
Absolutely, make links for it.
Coilovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do something badass in the back.
Ooh.
Because
Bring
I
the
really don't
Spitfire
care about.
back.
I don't want to race in any specific class, right? I don't care about class anymore. I want to just make my car fucking badass.
Take it to
and-
track days. Let's go run it on the track. Doesn't that sound like
Yeah.
a good time? Race it on a. You should do that to your car. Maybe not stop driving.
I
it like
would
a
I
big
would love
piece
to.
of
I'm just
shit.
waiting for the boat to be done.
We'll build a full cage. We'll build a full cage for it and everything,
Yeah.
integrate it in. Oh,
That'd be really fun.
if we
I'm
only
way
had
about that.
time.
I know.
Have you ever done anything else on the slalom? Like, did you do autocross and
Yeah, we
stuff
did
like that in it?
autocross. We did, and then I was part of a team that did roundy round racing, and I never got to drive, but I got to be a part of that team. So I learned a lot about circle track, and that's pretty much it. We didn't really dive into too much else.
I'd like to redeem myself from the 1990 Integra after I blew that up like 3 times because I wanted to convert it to a 5-speed. I did pick up a 91 GSX and did all like the simple mods like compressing the blow-off valve to get a couple PSI. But then we used to do quarter mile in Acco in Englishtown in Jersey. Then I started getting into autocross and I had a manual turbo XS boost controller and I backed it up too much and lost the pin. So I was running it was like 21 or 23 constant PSI. Kind of blew everything up, trailered it home, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And I bought now no longer redeeming myself, an 89 Stanza with cracked everything, rattle can the car,
Yeah.
and then I left to the core. So that was my last car. It's been trucks ever since.
Trucks ever since.
Yep.
We'll get you back out there, buddy. Don't worry.
I kind of miss it. I mean, you guys talking about S2000s and stuff like that.
Well,
if I
there's a
were
sick
to,
little red car out front that's for sale that I'm sure we could turn into an autocross car.
Yeah, there you go.
it's a Miata down there, isn't it?
Oh no, not
no,
that
get
one.
you one of
Sweet
those, too.
Toyota Solara. It's
Toyota
an
Solara,
04.
yeah.
Oh,
I think it's aerodynamic.
It's a race car.
Woo!
Got a 3.3 liter.
I
in
didn't.
it.
I didn't even see it over there because I parked in the first spot.
You know what they almost look like? It's like 240 SX is like the S15s. They're kind of the same, but way different.
Yeah, like
It'll be
totally
sick.
different.
It's got 2 doors, so you know it's fast.
It's a coupe.
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
red.
Yeah,
So
alloy
you know it's fast.
wheels. Yeah, 5
16.
speed.
No,
Pretty
you-
sure it's
you guys
front-wheel
are-
drive,
you
so
guys are
it's
right.
fast.
Yeah, it's front wheel
dude,
drive. It's for
practically
sure
It's
fast.
practically a 240 SX.
Mhm. And it's
It might as
sleek,
well be. Let's just call it that from now on.
aerodynamic.
Looks like that's getting rebadged.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Wonder if we could just put new badges on it and sell it as a 240 SX.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's
Somebody
do
will
that.
buy it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I
Sick.
heard these were super rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
JDM,
Absolutely.
whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right, well, that's good. thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll be out again next time. We're going to do this more often so that we can keep you updated on everything that's going on.
Sound a little more excited. Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you know, it's
it was
hot
a
in
good
here. It's
time.
like
We had
fucking
burritos
sauna.
together. You know, we kicked it.
Yeah, buddy.
Ending podcasts kind of sucks though, because like we're all just hanging out. You know, I'm gonna go home and probably read Princess Diaries and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you
So,
have to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's your job
keeps
as
me
a
on my
dad.
toes. Yeah, I know.
Sounds pretty good.
Jake's
But you're not-
Russo's going to go home and read it too, but he doesn't have any kids.
No, she didn't.
Kev, can you FaceTime me and read to me, please?
And then what happens?
Can we get on a Zoom?
So we
meeting?
agree we're going to set up a Zoom tonight?
That's it.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Story time.
This has been the Bent Motorsports Podcast. Thanks for listening in. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Bent Motorsports. Stay updated on the latest happenings, future projects, videos, and events here at the shop. Remember, guys, at Bent Motorsports, bids in stock, we've got it.